morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're watching. Welcome to another mobile edition of Crime Time with DutyRon. Hey guys, if you're not yet subscribed, consider hitting the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you'll get all things DutyRon and Ed Wallace when we are live or upload another video. Today I wanted to talk to you about the preview for tonight's show. 8 o'clock Eastern Time, as promised. I'm going to have a criminal defense attorney come and join us to discuss James Brenner, the murder in the first degree charge against him and the desecration of a human body in the Dylan Rounds case. So we are going to get into that tonight. As you know, I always bring on the professionals. But before we get into it, I want to say a special thank you to you, the Patreon supporters, the channel members, and all of the folks who positively engage. You guys are what makes this a great place. I give thanks and praise to each and every one of you, and I thank you for your comments down below in the comment section. Ed Wallace and I appreciate the engagement tremendously. Without the engagement and without you guys back and forth with us, really, what do we have? We have two guys who come on and give a bunch of information and don't have any interaction. So the interaction with you guys it's second to none. But thank you so much. Cheryl and Schaffner, good to see you. Black Rose 11, Barbara, George, everybody's piling in. The replay viewers and the moderators, I want to say a special thank you also to you, the unsung heroes. You folks who watch us live, the replay viewers, and the folks who watch us live and then replay it, you guys are awesome. So let me know what your thoughts are here in the chat. By a show of hands here, if you're just joining in, if you're newly subscribed, have you heard of the Dylan Rounds case? This is a 19-year-old. He would have been 20 years old, a young farmer in Lucin, Utah. A very remote farming community. Not a lot of, when you look at this location from an aerial shot, not a lot of people decide to go out and farm over there, but there are certain folks who do go out there and try to do it, and he was defying the odds. Memorial Day weekend, I think it was May 28th of 2022, he was trying to get his grain truck into a shed so he didn't get it rained on. The grain that he had inside there didn't get rained on, and that was the last time Dylan Rounds' family heard from him. James Brenner, who is a squatter, kind of like transient, he didn't have a home of his own. He was a squatter out on the property, out on the farm, and he did help around the farm as well. He was always suspect numero uno as far as the Rounds and Cooley family was concerned. They always felt like James Brenner was a guy who would snap easily. He had a violent past, violent criminal history. And from the Cooley and Rounds family, they felt that he should have been arrested immediately, like early on in this thing, for various reasons that I've covered on previous live streams. But tonight, I'm going to have a criminal defense attorney break down the Utah statute and codes. She's a friend of Tiffany Leonard's. She was recommended by Tiffany to me. Tiffany, as you know, is a cell phone and computer data expert. I'm going to ask Tiffany if she could rejoin us. And by a show of hands, who remembers Tiffany? She made an appearance talking about Brian Kohlberger and his cell phone data. So thanks, Mac Randall Jr. Yes, the Dylan's family needs justice. Absolutely. So I'm going to ask Tiffany if she can join us. I don't know if she'll be able to, but if she could join us, it'll be a really cool conversation, because in the Dylan Rounds case, there's talk in the summons and the probable cause affidavit. It's really listed as a summons in the state of Utah, but in that summons, right, they talk about a video that was time-lapsed. I hope everybody's following me here. So if you're not following me, let me know. Thank you for the sunflowers. That was the sunflowers there put in is Dylan's favorite flower. So you folks that are putting the sunflowers in the chat, I appreciate that. Thank you. And of course, Candace Cooley, when his birthday came around, his 20th birthday, they were asking everybody to plant sunflower seeds. So the time-lapsed cell phone recorded data could arguably be either Dylan Rounds or, unbeknownst to James Brenner, a final act of documenting what in fact happened to Dylan Rounds. We don't know exactly what's on that time-lapsed video that was recovered from Dylan's iPhone, right? Thank you for those sunflowers in the chat. But I want to ask Tiffany, and I asked her privately on a phone call about it, but I want to see if she could come on and talk with you guys. So how many of you are interested or concerned, like, hey, what's on this phone? And of course, we won't know until this thing goes to trial, because none of that will get out there. But, were they able to triangulate where the phone is? I think that it was established that the phone last pinged right outside that grain shed, within that the distance of very short distance of Dylan's farm. So a cell and data expert like Tiffany, I think, would bring an awesome aspect to this live tonight. So I'm hoping that Tiffany will be able to join us, even if it's just for a short period of time. But 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you guys get on over to I'm going to link the video in the description. Heck, if I would have, let me see if I could do it. You guys could, again, if you can, just let me know in the chat. If you're following the Dylan Rounds case and you know what I'm talking about, put a 1 in the chat. If you've never heard of Dylan Rounds, it's not now a missing persons case, it's a murder case, put a 2. I want to do the poll and see how many people know about Dylan Rounds. 1, if you know about it. 2, if you don't know. So this way I get an idea. I think a lot of people have heard of it. So let me see if I could redirect us while we're live. Let's see if I could do this. This would be pretty cool if I can. Okay, redirect. Let me see if I can add a redirect for tonight. Oh, I can. How awesome. All right, so I just added the redirect. You guys don't have to go. I don't have to link anything, so I'm a smarty pants. I just pulled the smarty pants Joshua move. So when we're done with this, it's going to redirect to tonight's live stream. Just give it a thumbs up, and if you can here, give this one a thumbs up, and then set your notification when you're redirected from this show over to tonight's live stream. So my guest is a criminal defense attorney. Her family they immigrated here to the United States from Egypt. So she's born in the United States, but her family is from Egypt. Her father was in the military in Egypt and served as a New York State correction officer. So the amount of knowledge that our guest tonight has is tremendous, and she's going to school us on how difficult is it in the state of Utah to prosecute a because we don't have Dylan Rounds' remains recovered, right? We hope that Dylan Rounds is, thank you, Mel. You guys are getting a kick out of my smarty pants comment. I thought that was pretty cool that I was able to do that. I did that on the fly. I was like, let me think if I could redirect us to tonight's live. So I forgot to do it. But thank you again for the sunflowers. All right, so 8 o'clock, I actually scheduled it for 8:05 p.m. Eastern. And you guys might be wondering, what is DutyRon holding in his hands? This is my wireless mic. So I'm utilizing the wireless DJI mic. So this is the system for the DJI, and it has like 2 microphones. So if I had Ed Wallace sitting next to me here, I would just give this. I would give the extra microphone to Ed Wallace, and you guys would be able to hear him too. Coincidentally, Ed Wallace is going to be returning shortly. We're all going to celebrate the return of Ed Wallace. I've had this for a couple of months, but I just started recently playing with it. So it's a really cool, rugged. It comes like with a little case, and when I go outside with it, there's these little fuzzy things that you could put on to dampen the wind noise. They call them dead cats. I don't know why they call them that, but that's what they're called. These little fuzzy things go on top. And I have my own little carrying case where this goes in here. So tonight I'm really interested in hearing her professional take on James Brenner. He's 59 or 60 years old. Some people say he's 59, others say he's 60. He's been in jail in federal lockup since July of 2022 on unrelated weapons charges. He was not able to be in possession of weapons, and when they did a search warrant at his shanty shack where he was squatting, there was a weapons recovery and all different kinds of things that were in violation of his release, right? Yeah, I'm getting fancy. But Brenner definitely looks much older than 59 or 60. He definitely looks like he's in his 70s. But that's what jail will do to you. Jail is, like when we talk about, Murdoch, and we talk about all these people who get locked away for 25 to life, or even people who get sentenced to 20 years in their late 50s or early 60s. 20 years in prison is like spending 40 years out in the street. When I say out in the street, I don't mean living on the street. I mean, 20 years sentence in prison is like 40 to 45 or ish years living on the outside. So it's really stressful. Nothing about it is comfortable. Everything is a struggle. The smallest things that you and I would think of, like, using a fork and a knife, or getting a meal, or moving about within your facility where you are, it's a struggle because you never know when you're going to get shanked, or you never know when you're going to get jumped. You never know when someone's planning or scheming to do something or take something from you. Prison is a rough go. It is not somewhere you ever want to wind up. And I know from being inside there on a professional level, going to pick up prisoners, it's a nasty dog-eat-dog environment. So James Brenner has been in federal lockup. Now, I will say the federal prisons are a little bit better than state and local jails, state prisons. But some of these federal lockups are pretty nasty as well. But yeah, so I made contact. Thank you for reminding me about Candace Cooley. So I made contact with Candace Cooley. I spoke to her night before last on the phone. And I want to just say this. I want to preface this. A lot of people are sending Candace Cooley condolences online. A lot of people, just out of the goodness of their hearts, are sending her condolences on, it's confirmed now. Now it's real that her son Dylan Rounds was murdered, right? So it hits home. But what she said to me, and this is what shows of how such a strong woman she is, what she said to me, Heather, whatever, thank you so much for being here. What Candace Cooley said to me is, Ron, and these are her almost exact words. She's like, Ron, this is what we've been fighting for 9 months. This is a win for us. We now know that what we thought James Brenner was responsible for the demise of our son, Dylan. This is a celebration. This is a win for the Cooley and Rounds family, because it's one step closer to getting justice for their son. But she, in that same sentence, said to me, I have to find my son. I have to bring Dylan home. And that's where EquiSearch and Twyla and Dave Rader and everybody that's going to help her bring him home. But we're hoping that by some chance, James Brenner gets an ounce of good will in him and he comes forward and tells the investigators where and what he did with Dylan. So we're hoping and praying for that. And Candace conveyed that message to me. She said, we just hope that, you know, Brenner has a day of reckoning where he says, I'm just gonna give it up and I'm just gonna say where he is and what I did with him. But if he doesn't do that, she's prepared. She's prepared to scour that desert again with a new fire, with new vigor and vim, to go out and search once the weather changes and spring and summer starts setting in Lucin. To do, and Twyla and EquiSearch and everybody are on board with helping them try to find Dylan. So if Brenner doesn't come forward, they're going to still be searching with a new urgency to complete this and find Dylan Round's remains. Now, don't forget, there's a very strong chance that, you know, obviously they're not going to be bringing home his body as we would think. This is going to be skeletal remains, and it's a tough thing to talk about, but she's a realist and she knows that it's going to be just remains for the most part. But we need to help her and help them, you know, that entire family get closure. So we're going to do what we can to support them, to be right at their side, to stand arm in arm, lock arms with them, stand shoulder to shoulder with the Rounds and Cooley family, and bring Dylan home, as she said. You know, and that conversation, as hard as it sounds for me to talk right now about it, that was a difficult conversation to have on the phone. But she is so focused. She's laser focused on finding her son. That's the next step. Obviously, you want to get a conviction. You want to have, you know, him indicted, and you want to have a trial if one has to be had if he pleads not guilty, and a trial is had. You want to get a guilty verdict and so forth. But her focus is getting to bring her son home, give him a proper burial, and have some closure for the family. And it'll never be full closure. So let me say hello to everybody in the chat, because there's a lot of people here, 300 people. Guys, if you can, please give this a thumbs up while we're all here. Let's collectively, as a family, as a community here at Crime Time with DutyRon, is give this video a thumbs up. That's how you can help for free. You know, you don't need to give a super chat or anything like that, but just giving it a thumbs up, liking and subscribing. If you're new and you're not yet subscribed, consider subscribing. Tonight's video will be subscribers only, chatting. You can watch and listen if you're not a subscriber. It's not a members only, it's a subscriber only chat. We are going to set the chat so you, the subscribers, will be the ones that can chat. So if you're watching from the outside, just go and sign into your YouTube channel. It's free to subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. Just hit the subscribe button so you can participate in the chat. I am going to invite, if she wants, Candace Cooley as well to come on and say a couple of words if she wants. I don't know what her schedule's like. I don't know if she'll be able to do it or she'll be able to come on. Just, you know, and if she did, it would be something very brief. So I'm going to extend that olive branch and say, hey, if you want to come on and say something, you're more than welcome to. But we're going to focus, again, on the criminal charges. We're going to break down the criminal charges. Hello from New Zealand. Good to see you. Curious Kiwi, Mary Flynn, Lori Jo Carroll, Penny Sheehan, Black Rose, Jimmy Geiger, Charlie. Hello. Daisies Forever, Mary Flynn, of course, True Crime with Shannon. Good to see you, Shannon. Beamer 650. Good to see you, Beamer. Thanks for joining. Agati. Jeff, good to see you, Litwell. Willer. Thank you, Jeff. That was a tongue twister for me. Kachada T, thank you for being here. Hi, Buster. Curious Kiwi, I said hello to all of these folks. Don Hagerman, thank you for being here. Hey, guys, you are awesome. Always great to see you. Hi, Patty, Heather, whatever. Cat H, RDNAC. The whole family is assembled here. And again, Princess Mitch, Robert, your husband, I greatly appreciate you guys supporting us here. You're awesome. Janine says, good morning from the Gulf Coast of Australia. Put another prawn on the barbie and let's have a little shrimp for breakfast this morning. And good to see you. I'm just kidding. Hi, Schmitty. Love and respect to you as well. Thank goodness. Hope Dylan is found soon, says Miss Murphy. Missy Murphy, thank you. Listen, again, I want you guys to, if you have questions about the criminal charges levied against Jim Brenner. James Brenner is in a federal lockup. He's going to be indicted on these charges sooner than later, but there is a process. So we're going to talk to our criminal defense attorney about the process. But if you have questions, I want you to go over to DutyRon.com and put in questions for the Tonight Show or questions for the Dylan rounds. Just whatever. Just make it simple. But questions for Tonight Show, if they're keep them criminal related, as it pertains to the charges against James Brenner. Does he qualify for the death penalty? These are big questions. Hey, by a show of hands, who's interested in knowing, is James Brenner, because he's charged with murder in the first degree and desecration of a human body, do those two things qualify for the death penalty in Utah, which they used to use a firing squad in Utah, and now they use death by lethal injection. But does this scumbag qualify for the death penalty? And if so, how do you guys feel about the death penalty? I was raised a Catholic. My aunt, my mother's sister, who's still alive, God bless her, Sister Camille. I call her Aunt Joan because that's her real name, Joan. I call her Aunt Joan, but she's Sister Camille. She's in the Catholic religion. They are against the death penalty. If you are a practicing Catholic, you're not supposed to be cheerleaders for the death penalty. But then again, a lot of people are religious, but they don't practice their religion, right? So some people are Catholic but are not practicing Catholics. And when I say that, I mean not going to the church every Sunday, not following all the rules. But listen, here I'm waving my hand. When I became a police officer, my aunt, who's a Catholic nun, came to me and asked me to sign an anti-death declaration. And what she was asking me to sign was, in the state of New York, they reinstitute the death penalty. And she was asking me nicely, is if I would sign a statement saying that if somebody killed me as a police officer, that I wouldn't want the death penalty instituted against them or any of my brothers and sisters. And I said to my aunt, Sister Camille, I said, Aunt Joan, I love you, I respect you, but I am not going to sign that document. Guess what? She accepted it. She still loves me. I still love her. But there was no way in hell that I was going to sign that document. My mother did, God rest her soul. Her sister, my mom, signed it. My other aunt, my other mother's sister signed it. I think my sister signed it. But me and my brother, we wouldn't sign it. We were like, where's my oh hell no button? Where is it? I'm in the car. I don't have my oh hell no button. Maybe I should take a recording of the oh hell no on here and just have a little button and press it and do the oh hell no. What do you think? I think it's appropriate for this one. But there's a little story about the struggles of families. It wasn't she didn't make a big deal about it, but she did present it to me. She presented to me to sign the declaration of not allowing the state of New York to put anybody to death if they killed me or any of my brothers and sisters in the police department or anybody in my family for that matter. So I was like, I love you, but I'm not doing it. Let me know what you think about that down below in the comment section. You know, I do need an oh no, hell no, Missy Murphy. I do. Why make God send them to hell later? Take it easy, Schmitty. Thanks for being here. All right, so that's all I got for you today. Tonight, 8:05. I think that's when I scheduled it. We're all going to be directed over to that live. Let me just see quickly. Let's just check this live stream and see how many thumbs up we got. My phone is not updated. It only says 16. I know there's more than 16. Can someone do a check for me to see how many thumbs up we got? And if you're just stumbling into this live stream, again, it's a preview for tonight's show with a criminal defense attorney to talk about the charges against James Brenner. He stands now charged with the murder of Dylan Rounds. Schmitty says 190 on our way out. Thank you. Let's see if we can get it up over 200. There's 300 people here. We should have at least 300 thumbs up on the live. I don't ask for much. If you guys can, please just go over and whoop, hit the thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you share it out. I greatly appreciate that. You guys are awesome, and I appreciate all of the cooperation that you guys give. All right, so with that, I'll see you guys at 8:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're all going to be sent over there. Thanks, Sharon, for the 207. Oh, Sharon, by the way, I read your email just today, and let's talk. I would be willing to come and hang out with you for a little while. You do some really good videos on your channel. I like what you do. So let's try to get together. It's just hard for me because Monday through Friday I'm stuck here for most of the day, 9 to 5, and we'll talk. The amount of time everybody thinks, oh, DutyRon's always free. It's a miracle I get to sneak this in. This is 27 minutes. I don't know. Now from here, I got to run to the post office. I'm like a chicken with my head cut off. I managed to make this work, but it's just so difficult. Time is really stretched. Richella, good to see you. Thank you for joining with Richella. That means Lieutenant Pete is right around the corner, so good to see you, Lieutenant Pete. All right, guys, send your questions in tonight for tonight's show to DutyRon.com. Ask your questions about Dylan Rounds, James Brenner, the charges against James Brenner. We're going to have a criminal defense attorney. Let's pick her brain apart. Let's ask her about the death penalty. Let's ask her about what's next, what's going to happen. Is there going to be a plea bargain? Will the district attorney in Lucin, Utah, will the Box Elder district attorney, will they offer James Brennan a plea deal if he gives up where Dylan Rounds' remains are? These are all questions that are legitimate. Will they do that, or will they tell him sit and spin? Sit and spin. We're going to nail you. We got enough evidence with the video and the cell phone, with the cell phone data, with all of the evidence, with the shirt with DNA on it. There's so much to this case. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments. Send them over to DutyRon.com. I'll see you tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love you guys. I respect you guys. And I thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for all you guys do to make this a great place. I really don't care about the big numbers and millions of subscribers. I care about an engaging community. And what we have going on right here, right now, is really awesome sauce. It's awesome, awesome. You guys are fantastic. I'll see you on the next one. Peace and love from Crime Time with DutyRon. Talk to you soon.